We ready to do this?
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Spider friends, and welcome to another edition of the Spider-Man Retrospective.
My favorite time of the week.
I'm the Birdman, Travis Snail.
I am the tablet, Kyle Smith.
The tablet. Seriously,
That doesn't
man.
even work.
That's like that's the first word of the episode.
Woof.
I'm the fang face Dylan Musk.
And we are here for the final 4 episodes of
Season 2, yeah.
Season 2, yes. This should be an interesting discussion.
Another set of 2 episodes, 2-parters.
That was a big thing in Season 2. The Season 2 was the 2-parter ones.
These stories are getting so complex that they can't do it in one episode. Apparently.
Which I like, except for when we get episodes maybe like the Tablet of Time, which I'm not too fond of.
Oh,
But
quick spoiler. All right.
Oh, damn.
possibly. So
You didn't love those episodes?
maybe not.
Well, we'll find
Maybe
out.
fuck yourself. No.
Ooh,
It's from The
that was a
Departed.
Okay.
It's from The Departed.
Okay.
Number 11, episode 11, Tablet of Time. An ancient artifact known as the Tablet of Time has been uncovered. Kingpin wants to sell it, while elderly, I love that they had to say elderly Silvermane wants to use it to restore himself, I guess that's why. Each crime lord kidnaps a useful hostage and a useful hostage and a useless hostage, based on Amazing Spider-Man number 73. Dylan, what did you think about this episode? Kicking off Tablet of Time.
Yeah. Well.
Silvermane's back. Kingpin's back.
Yeah, I was about to say that's some of the good thing with it is we do get some backstory on Kingpin. I think this is the first time his wife.
Vanessa.
I think this is the first time she's in the series.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, Silvermane is I don't think even think he's been in season 2. He was more of a season 1 guy. He was around. A couple times, I wanna say.
Spider-Man saved him that one time. I
Yeah.
think he was only in one episode, like an
Yeah.
offshoot
I think that's
episode.
it.
So I mean, I don't really
Yeah.
care about him a whole lot, but I mean, I don't think it was the worst episode. You guys are trashing it, and I don't think it was that bad. If I think of some of the bad episodes, from season 1, the Spider Slayer episodes.
I won't say it's on that level.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
still say it's
That's
better
true.
than that, and
But this is, I guess, we're jumping ahead, but this is our overalls. Do you think this is the worst or the least good of the season?
from memory, I would say so.
Because
And
we've
I
had
will
the
say
Human
this.
Spider saga, we had the Blade saga,
Yeah,
we
the
had
X-Men episodes.
X-Men episodes, and then we had one more after that. Oh, lots of Morbius episodes.
Yeah, I will say that at least this one could have been better if they just stuck it into one episode, because
Yeah.
the first part of it, the Tablet of Time itself, struggles as an episode. I think the second one isn't bad. I think there's some good stuff in there, but
See, I'm the
overall
reverse.
it didn't, and I don't think it needed to be a 2-parter.
I'm the reverse. I thought the first set up a lot of stuff, but then the second was a lot of recurring,
Right,
this person got loose, so let's kidnap them. This person got loose, let's kidnap them.
yeah.
I think there was more
Yeah.
action,
Yeah.
but this, and I know we're talking about them together, but they kind of go hand in hand. It was, I found both episodes at the time very repetitive, very kind of, we've been here, done that. We've kind of, I felt this was not a bad version, but a lesser version of, we've talked about, I think last cast was of the Hobgoblin episodes, where that was all about double crossing and all these people's different plans, everything like that. And we were oh, that worked so well. For this one, it just felt, like I said, been there, done that, and I've seen it better, right?
Yeah.
So
I have it in my notes. I felt like it was just a lazy way to make a story. When you're adding, oh, well, we kidnapped this person, but then we'll kidnap this person. But then those characters that they kidnapped weren't really essential to the entire storyline.
Yeah.
They're kind of just there because, oh, well, we need to, up the ante. But it's well...
So if you haven't been watching along, the episodes, and you're just
Yeah.
tuning in now, you like our synopsises, whatever. Kingpin and Silvermane, they both take 2 people from each other's different lives. So Kingpin kidnaps Silvermane's daughter,
Yeah.
and who else?
Lisa, I think it was just one person.
Just the daughter
wasn't
first.
it? Oh, right, and then Connors comes later,
Yeah.
right? And then
Right.
Silvermane takes Vanessa,
And then...
is it Smythe? It's not Smythe, but it's somebody kind of
I
lower
don't know.
tier. But that's all it is, and that's what I mean. It's kind of unmental, to be honest. They've taken a few people. Yeah, that was my first thing. Well, what did you think over? You kind of said, but you want to cap up your overall.
So I think the
episode?
first half of the first part, I kind of liked a little bit better. But then you come to the second half, and I felt like it just kept repeating itself, and I got really bored watching it. It's well, this is just the same thing over and over again, just to reiterate what I was saying before.
Yeah.
And otherwise, overall, I feel like this, the end of this whole season, I guess, was not as strong as how it started off.
Well, it's tough because they really started with all and they planned out, I guess, but they all the really good episodes, we talk about Punisher, Blade, X-Men, they all hit you right away.
Well, I mean, the
Insidious 6.
Insidious 6 and the X-Men episodes kind of started off the season, literally the first episodes, and that it seems like a strange choice. You would think maybe you put some medium episodes there at the beginning.
I get the Insidious 6th one because like start off strong, but then maybe the Tablet of Time ones come after. But then at the same point, then it's like the season would have been weaker. So obviously they didn't write this in mind of being like a weaker episode. It just felt that way. I've already talked about.
I liked. Well, they also bring in like 2 new like bad guy henchmen with Tombstone and Hammerhead, and I think they were all right. Like they're another one of those like kind of rhino kind of shocker dudes who don't really have a whole lot of backstory at least yet, and they're kind of just there as like tough guys.
Look cool.
Yeah.
I especially like Tombstone's voice.
I as well too.
Tombstone. I think he looked all right, and his voice was pretty good. He was kind of he was just a little bland. I guess like, he didn't have any like very memorable lines.
No.
And then Hammerhead, he was also
his
not
hair
the greatest.
was unreal.
His hair
made from adamantium.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy.
And then the other thing I liked is that
adamantium was
they bring in the Mega Slayer, the giant robot
we should have known
Smythe's face, and I don't know. I kind of like that because Smythe's always been Kingpin's little like computer nerd, and he doesn't. Obviously he can't walk, so that's a struggle. But they give him like this powerful robot, like this massive robot, like probably 20 feet tall. I kind of like that.
I did like the addition of the face. I like that.
Yeah, the face was really funny.
Well, I guess to talk some positives, what I do have, the very first thing I liked the way the episode started was Kingpin in a gym, and he's just beating dudes up, and you actually did get to see him look super muscly and muscular, which was good, because he does just kind of look like a bigger, overweight guy. So I like that. He's easily throwing people. And then I like the tablet shows on screen, and he kind of just decides he wants it because someone says, like...
It's worth, like, 15 million.
Yeah, and he's just like... He's kind of paying attention, and then once he hears the dollar, he's like, oh, I need that. He does not need that at all. He doesn't even want it. Like, at least with Silverman, it's like, okay, he wants it to be young again, right? Like, he wants it to be... powerful, which I'll get into a big complaint, like more powerful again. But Kingpin literally just wants it to sell it, and I like that addition to Kingpin though, because it just shows how greedy and how money hungry.
And that even comes up too with his wife Vanessa, like comments like, "You don't need this. Like we already have more than we need. Like you don't need to do this." Vigilante lifestyle anymore,
And he's like, oh, and then he gets a phone call in the middle and takes that, and then she just kind of ignores him. And then, like, she does leave him at some point.
Yeah, I feel like for that, like, it's just Kingpin's way of just to be overpowering everyone else, right? Because if you have that, he
has that hunger for power.
one thing over everybody that somebody wants. So
we saw that too with the symbiote too. Yeah. Remember when that crashed first thing? He's like, "Oh, Smythe, we gotta get this." It's like he didn't. Once again, he never states why. He just why. You can tell why.
And it's been a while since we've seen Kingpin in any of these episodes.
Yeah, he took a real back. I can't even remember the last time we saw him. To be honest, maybe Insidious 6. I think he's maybe appeared, but I don't think he's ever been a main player.
Yeah, because in this one he comes back to being like the main head honcho.
Yeah,
and I don't know. I kind of like the reason. Like I guess it wasn't as interesting, but the reason for this battle back and forth. And I think a big thing for Kingpin's motivation is that Silvermane wants it, and Silvermane is a competitor, right? A rival.
And so and I like that. I like the whole setup to it.
And I kind of like the Aztec vibe, like when they're going when this explorers like in the jungle at first.
I like the pyramid too.
But yeah, I mean, I can mention like a bunch of cool things, but the episode overall like does seem a little disconnected or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
Well,
something
one thing
seems off.
I want to bring up that bugged me in this episode and the next episode, that Silverman keeps saying that he wants to crush his competitors, and that's why he wants his tablet. But for me, I didn't really understand what being young had to do with it. Like, obviously, okay, maybe more time in life, blah, blah, blah. But, like, he made it sound like he was almost like a supervillain when he was young. And, like, when he is younger, spoilers in the next episode, he does become young. He does actually fight guys quite a bit, but in no way he had powers or was... Like, he did kick some ass. So I was like, oh, maybe he was just that strong when he was young. But he made it sound like he was the fucking, like, Hulk. And then, like, he's... It's just
felt like the Hulk.
Maybe, but he was just a regular dude, so I didn't... That didn't correlate.
There's not really... any like explanations given in the episode. You could see it as like maybe that's when he came to power or something, when he was in his younger years and he felt like he had more energy and more drive or something, and then maybe he just wants that again. But yeah, they don't really explicitly or even hint at like why he wants that.
Yeah. Just to crush, he says to crush his competitors. He says that like so many times in these episodes.
Yeah, Silvermane, I didn't like him when he first came up. And like,
he's super generic.
I like it. I guess I like him in this episode rather than just some other random guy we haven't heard of.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
I like that how they do like kind of build up a world and there's
and they have that dichotomy with him and Spider-Man in the past. Where Spider-Man saved him, right? So there's a reveal Spider-Man like, oh, I saved this guy. Like I agree with you. I wouldn't have wanted him to be a random guy, but like at least Tombstone and Silverman, or Tombstone and Hammerhead are kind of like generic in a fun way, you know. But
also Hammerhead's blue suit, it's pretty swag, and I like it.
But Silverman's just kind of like this like crotchety old man, and he's all right. I think you put a good like.
Yeah.
We know him, so that's good. But I've not really invested in him at all.
Yeah. What do you guys think of the name The Tablet of Time?
I think it sounds very comic booky. Like the second, like I like in the sense of comic books, but like I don't ever want to see this or that in a movie ever. You know, like I think it belongs in the animated show. I think it belongs in like Spider-Man: Homecoming. I don't want Michael Keaton.
The Aztec tombs it came from.
Yeah, like spoiler for like episode 3 and 4. I don't want Michael Keaton to be looking for the Tablet of Time. Like, and I can deal with aliens. It's just kind of like I don't know. And I do like what they do with it. The result of what happens once they get the Tablet of Time, which we'll get into. But like, this is all like I've always looked back on these episodes. So I was already biased going in. I've never been a fan of this storyline. I've never been a fan of even when Vulture gets involved. It's just kind of like man, like it's like. All right, like you want to be young, that's cool, but at the end of the day, like you could still die, you know, like it doesn't really change much. You're just gonna be younger. Like someone could still shoot you in the head, and your Tablet of Time does nothing.
Yeah, I think it's just like a longer, more convoluted way of having like immortality. You can just keep resetting yourself or something like that. But I mean, I actually like the name. I think it reminds me of like some like video game item or something like that. And so I kind of like it from that perspective.
That's what I like in this role. But would you like it in a live action movie though? That's
hard. That's hard to say because they're just so wildly different.
Yeah,
because the movies really try to swing like realism onto it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How about you? What did you think of the name?
I didn't really like the name, to be honest.
Yeah, I thought because you brought it up.
You don't play video games. So
no, I don't really. But no, like it's all right. But I feel like again, I guess it would work in a comic book sense. But if you go to a real world,
well, this was from issue 73, which meant this was in like the 60s, 70s. So back then, the Tablet of Time. That sounds perfect.
That before,
yeah, exactly.
So I guess in that aspect, knowing that makes a little bit more sense. Because beforehand it's just really shitty.
You taking a shot at Stan Lee or Jack Kirby?
Yeah. At first, I just didn't like the name, but as you kind of explain it a bit more, with a bit more history, it kind of makes more sense. So it's not too bad then. But.
Yeah, my pauses I did have for you. I put Smite back in the robot. How did you guys feel about this episode? And he does it again later. And I guess he did it last episode too. Kurt Connors seems to be turning alot into Lizard now. This is a recurring thing where he loses control and turns into Lizard. Do you like this? Do you not like this? How do you feel? Because like it didn't happen in the monster one, right?
In the monster one?
Was it with Human Spider? What? Because at one point doesn't he turn into it? And there's Human Spider going on, and somebody's like, "Oh, it's like a monster mash." Like I thought it happened one time, other than this one or in the Blade one. I can't remember because we watched.
Yeah, no, it definitely happened in like, the last.
I think it happened in the Blade one.
So I think so because it was sooner. So I liked it happening, but I don't know if I like this happening like back to back. Like we had it, and then right away next episode Connors is back, and it happens again.
I think it's almost it's kind of like a build up, like the Man Spider stuff too. Mm-hmm. It was like it started with arms, and then eventually it just became like something you couldn't avoid. Mm-hmm. And it seems like that's the case with the Lizard too. And then even like it's kind of going forward, but to the Vulture episodes, it comes up again as like a pretty big plot point, and kind of like the end of the season, honestly. Yeah. I think I like it just because, I mean, we already have, like, Mariah as just, like, that straight-up scientist who's Spidey's friend, so I think that it's cool to have that dynamic of Connors also having, like, the two sides to him, I guess.
Yeah. No, that's a good point.
It kind of makes him separate from Mariah in that sense.
Mm-hmm. Kyle, how do you feel about Lizard?
I don't mind the Lizard at all. I think I kind of just go with Dylan there. Mm-hmm. Just really adds to it and, builds up the point of, them having to fix this machine so they can fix all of them. Because at the end of the day, they all want the same thing. They want this mutation to be done and, like, gone, or to try to fix himself in some sort of way.
I think what makes the Lizard interesting for me is that, I mean, that was the first episode, and we talked about it at the time, like, the first episode wasn't the greatest, but, like, that's the very first episode of the whole series, so I don't know, I think it's cool in that sense.
I like him being around, I just don't know the Vulture with this and Blade One, I think maybe they should have lost one of them. You know, like I think 3 times in a row back to back of him not being able to control is a little too much. I think 2 is fine, but I think for me it's 3 because it happens before, it happened now, and then it happens again in the future, right?
Yeah.
So it's
that didn't need to happen in this episode.
Yeah, like it loses its specialness kind of when it's like, oh, he's trading lizards. It's like, yeah, I just saw this, you know, and I get the point, but at the end of the day, the finale doesn't focus on him having to chase down Lizard. If the finale did, the last episode was him, and it's like the ultimate, like, oh, Lizard Spider-Man battle, but it doesn't, right? He's always just kind of like, kind of a plot device in a way. It's like, oh, when they need help or something's going bad, it's like, oh, well, Connors, right? Like, that'd be perfect, so.
So I have also my notes that I feel like there's a lot of characters towards the second part of this episode as well, too.
Well, I felt, in my time, I put my note as this episode felt a little rushed for me, and maybe it's because, like,
I think it was the whole kidnapping thing overall.
Well, there's that, and we knew the characters already, so that's what bugged me, that why it felt rushed, but it just felt like we were going through stuff so quickly, and then maybe it was the kidnapping stuff, and that was even with the 2-part, you know, I felt like overall, like, it felt long, but it felt like everything was really rushed and moved really fast, but not in a fun pace, just in a, like, I think it was just because everyone just kept getting kidnapped, it's like, oh, his wife's gone, and then his daughter's gone, and then blah, blah, blah.
And those were 2, like, his daughter, Eliza, I can't remember.
I think it's Eliza, but
something like that. And then Vanessa as well. Like that's the first time they've been in the series too. So that's kind of like their intro episode as well. So you tied in with all those other characters. Yeah. It's just a little overwhelming.
It's like almost 8 characters that you have that are kind of just brand new into this episode
for 20 minutes or whatever it is. That's not a lot.
I liked the cliffhanger of Spider-Man suffocating. I can't remember where it was, but I just like when they end up cliffhangers. You know, I can't remember the exact details. I was going to ask, how does everyone feel before, like, my last notes is, how did everyone feel about Peter and Eliza and this whole, like, mini sub-storyline? Like, when this started, where did you think it was going to be revealed that Silvermane's daughter? Like, did you guys think someone was fishy with her?
I think I forgot about that scene where, like,
the shit went down?
You see, like... Well, because there's like a foreshadow scene where you see someone put their hand on Silvermane's like shoulder or something. And that's her, but you don't know that at the time. And I think I forgot that happened just because it seemed like such a minor thing. And I don't know. I guess I didn't really expect it, but I kind of liked it. I thought it was kind of funny just to see, you know, Peter going for, you know, MJ is off with what's his name?
Harry.
Yeah.
His best friend.
Felicia's like with Flash or doing some weird shit.
I think Felicia is in a just like desperate, or she's in a kind of depression, so she's kind of like sleeping around. I think she likes Peter, but she doesn't want to put that on Peter. So I think she's just kind of doing her own thing. But yeah, what did you think, Kyle, of Eliza or whatever?
So I kind of knew something was fishy when she first came in, just because she seemed kind of shady when she was meeting.
Oh, right.
At the
diner, wasn't it?
I don't think it was at the diner. They were in the school, the laboratory, I think.
Yeah.
So already it was like, oh, she seems kind of a shady character type thing, but we'll see where it goes. So, but when it was revealed it was her daughter, it's like, oh, okay, like that kind of just reinforces what I thought about her. But no, it was I kind of liked it, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I thought it was cool.
Yeah, I liked it too. It was a good change of pace. Like, obviously I knew it was his daughter because of my past, but like, I liked it. It was a good change up. It dropped in at the right moment. That's, to me, the thing that worked the best here, just because the timing of that worked well. It's just like, okay, well, he just broke up from these 2 girls. There's this other girl. They kind of make these jokes about how she asked him on a date, and he's like, oh, he says to her, I don't know, and then he's in his head, he's like, what are you thinking? Like, MJ's not with you, like, Gwen's not with you, like, whatever. Like,
monologues. He just has so much heart.
Yeah, I know, and he's like, don't screw this up, which I love. He's like, he just met this girl, and he's like, don't screw this up, you know, but like, yeah, so I like that aspect, and I like the twist. It was like, obviously, like, I don't think, if you don't know, I didn't think they foreshadowed it too much, so I think that was good. So did you guys have any other notes on this episode?
On episode 11, I have a note where Peter says, he's like, why weren't women this attracted to me?
A robot comes and he's like, oh, another robot, why aren't women this attracted to me? Yeah, I have that line too, I forgot to say, yeah, that's a good line, yeah.
I unfortunately didn't have any like notable quotes from this episode.
There wasn't much.
Problem.
Like, I don't think they wrote as a throwaway episode, but this is an episode that I feel like you could, this and the other Tablet of Time, other than if you're a big Silvermane fan and you miss some of the characters, you could easily miss these 2 episodes, and it doesn't really affect too much of the big plot. Do you guys have anything else before we move on to next episode?
No, I don't have any more.
No, let's do it.
What do you want to, as far as ranking this? What are you, thumbs up, thumbs down, in the middle?
I think for me, I'm going to go in the middle.
Okay.
Just because I had kind of issues with the second. Are we doing just the episode 11?
Just episode 11. What is
just
this?
episode?
We've kind of already sprinkled in 12 a little bit.
Yeah. I still go with the middle, just because I felt like there's a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
It wasn't because a thumbs up like some other episodes that you really enjoy, but it's not like I didn't dislike it, like the Spider Slayers.
Right.
So
that's our just go-to.
Oh yeah. I don't think anything was gonna replace it. I don't remember any. Well, there's one episode coming up next season that I think we're gonna give some thumbs down to.
Yeah.
But
it's really bad. Like it's not good.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Dylan, what do you think?
I think this episode had a few like good ideas, but then the execution was just a little bit off. So I'm not gonna give it a thumbs down just because I did like some ideas. I'm not gonna give it a thumbs up just because it was just a little boring, pretty much. That's what it comes down to. So yeah, right in the middle for me as well.
Yeah, same thing. Probably in the middle. Echo what those guys said. Ravages of Time.
Part 2.
Part 2. With the Tablet of Time, Silvermane's youth is restored, but he continues to grow younger until he finally becomes infant. Just giving off the fucking twist. Like, what the fuck is this? Whoever wrote this Wikipedia article or whatnot.
That's like the last scene.
That's the last scene of the episode. That's what we were like, we won't spoil it. But it's just like, that's the synopsis. It's like...
We gotta make our own synopsis.
Yeah, it's like, sorry, spoilers for Star Wars episode Empire Strikes Back, but it's like Darth Vader, who's revealed to be Luke Skywalker's son, tries to recruit him. It's like, you don't do that. But anyway, so, yeah... He gets a tablet, he becomes young, and he turns into a baby. Surprisingly, the tablet is even able to revert the lizard back to Dr. Connors. As the ordeal has caused his wife to leave him, Kingpin orders the tablet gotten rid of. Mm-hmm. Is that proper English? Tablet gotten rid of?
We'll give it a pass.
He orders the tablet to get the fuck away from him based on issue 74 and 75. What do you guys think about the Ravages of Time overall?
Kyle, any thoughts?
Yeah, I guess this is kind of going back what I was saying about episode 11. But this is... Because we kind of sprinkled about it
we
before.
definitely did a little bit. But.
Yeah, but...
Not as much as that synopsis, though.
No, not as much. It was alright. I feel like just, again, these part 2s, or like this kind of parter was a little boring.
Two-parters was the correct term, I think.
Is kind of boring, so I didn't really find too much enjoyment. So I actually don't have much on my notes, to be honest.
I think you now that I'm going through that and thinking about the synopsis, I think a lot more of things that I thought happened were in part 1. So yeah, I don't know, just a little bit lacking for sure.
I don't think this is a spoiler on my score, but this episode and even the next one, but like this one to me is not the closest because it's better quality, better writing. But for me, it would be like the Spider Slayer episodes and then this one next, to be honest. And then it would be the other Tablet Time, like further away. But this one, it's not... I don't know. I don't think this is a good episode. Like I said, I think it's skippable. I think that I like the finale kind of with the pyramid and the fights, but this episode has like a lot more kidnapping, everything like that. Mm-hmm. So overall, I did not like it. I'll start with a positive. I liked at one point Spider-Man said, "Yo, Chrome Dome," the Hammerhead. Great line, like classic.
She didn't finish her latte.
Yeah, classic. Like he was doing good in this episode, but and that was the other thing in this episode too that I didn't like, and probably why I got flashbacks was I think there's too much Mega Slayer in this episode. This was the one where they end up meeting in the parking lot, and he's there to like watch it, and then the fight breaks out at Spider-Man versus the Mega Slayer. And I thought like one episode was fine, but the Spider Slayers in general, I'm just always like they have that sting on them. So I was like, too much of the Mega Slayers in this one for me.
I mean, to me, I disagree a little bit just because this Mega Slayer does have a little bit more personality because it is kind of like Smythe.
Yeah.
But one thing to do with that is Spidey like makes this new adhesive so that he can, because his web wasn't working on the first Mega Slayer, and so the way he tests it is by testing it on Aunt May's nonstick frying pans. And I just thought that was so good. It's just that lovable cheese that like just what makes this series what it is.
And then in this episode, what the main thing is, talking about the parking lot, is so Silvermane has Kingpin's people that he's kidnapped, Kingpin has Silvermane's people that he's kidnapped, and they're going to meet in parking lot and do this deal, and it ends with Kingpin's big idea is to get his people back, but then kidnap those people again. So it was a big double cross.
Kingpin's all about the double cross. So that was pretty much exactly what you would expect. I can't remember exactly the first time I watched the episode, but I'm pretty sure that was what I expected to happen.
I expected it too, but then again, it was like another everyone's getting re-kidnapped again, right? But I did like that one. I put that in my positives because it was a classic Kingpin thing to do. Like, he's not going to let people go. So, yeah, I liked that. Once again, I had more notes about him. He kept saying that when he was young, he's going to destroy people, but then I said he could just shoot people right now when he's old. Like, that just bugged me. It was just always up my face. What do you guys have for notes?
Yeah, well, I mean, Silvermane... he's got gray hair and, maybe sounds a little bit old, but he doesn't really seem like he
I think he was more crippling.
Yeah, like
he did a front flip when he became young. I wrote that.
Spidey in the next episode can barely walk down the street, so I don't think Silvermane's quite at that point. So it is definitely a little bit confusing.
Yeah,
I got a quick solid quote here. I think it's when they're talking about like the Recombinator and the Tablet of Time and stuff like that. This thing could have turned his DNA into a linguini.
I have that too.
That's
another. I thought that was a great line.
All these one-liners.
That's my thing. Part 2,
that's fair.
It was a little bit boring, but it had some quotes.
Yeah.
If I can't get down a single quote for an episode, then I'm a little bit disappointed because that's probably my favorite part.
Mm-hmm. How did you guys feel about the Tablet of Time twist about him becoming Imphin? I think that's for me the favorite part of this episode because it's like
I like that scene.
It's a classic kind of karma thing where it's like he's been after this thing his whole as far as we know for a good majority of his older life. He's been talking about how important he is. The whole 2 episodes are about it, and then he turns young, and then he turns into a kid, and then he turns just brand new infant. I really like that twist. It's a good way. I'm not a big fan of the episode, but I like.
I completely agree with you on that. It kind of gives it a little bit different of vibe. Thinking, he's not just going to be young. Well, it actually just keeps adding on to it more, kind of like a Benjamin Button feel.
Yeah,
which is it's exactly what it is. But it was really cool, and just, exactly just a karma type thing. So I thought it was interesting.
I like that twist as well. One thing I'm just thinking of right now is how weird is it that they brought that whole Aztec temple to their lab in New York?
I thought they rebuilt it to make it look like an Aztec temple.
Either way,
it's
pretty impressive, and that's a lot of money that Silvermane's poured into that thing.
Yeah. Hey man, you got to do what you got to do.
Speaking of that temple, at one point there's a part where there's a bunch of lasers, and they're shooting around the room, and they say something like they can't let anyone hit Connor because it's going to permanently keep him lizard or something like that, or is that the? Oh no, that's when it would turn his DNA to Linguini, I think.
Yeah.
It's something to do with Connor can't get these lasers hit. Spider-Man picks him up and he's running out of this this pyramid. But the lasers, there's no way Connor's and him wouldn't have been hit. They're literally there's 60,000 lasers, and they're always and I guess so you can say Spider Sense, but the way they do it in the show, it's there's no fucking way even Spider-Man would be missed by any of these lasers.
Well, I mean, you could probably pinpoint 3 or 4 scenes of that in every single episode, honestly.
This was an abundance of lasers, so I usually never put in my notes, but yeah.
To be fair, Spidey probably could have handled that laser.
But with Connor's on his back, though, that's what makes it a little bit...
Yeah, that's a little bit more sus.
At the end of this episode, Vanessa leaves Kingpin. We talked about that earlier. I liked that. Even though I didn't like it, as I wish we would have met Vanessa maybe last season or the beginning of the season to have more impact. You look at Netflix... Daredevil, completely different, but Vanessa, the second you meet Kingpin is the second you meet Vanessa. Vanessa's a very important character, the Kingpin. Mm-hmm. So for myself and knowing how important she is, her leaving is big.
Yeah,
but
you
for the show,
don't really feel it. You kind of have to just believe it.
Yeah.
They don't really tell you that. Because, that is the first episode we get her is 1 episode ago. Mm-hmm. Now she's gone.
Yeah. And then, Kingpin, my last few notes here, or just get rid of the tablet. Hammerhead gives it to someone that sold it. Did you guys have any idea who that was when you saw the shadow of a bald old guy?
No.
Okay.
No idea.
Good. Professor X, maybe? Who knows?
He needs to be young and powerful again.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any notes for this episode left?
For me, I just have... There's just a lot of kidnapping in that stuff.
I think that's been a lot of your notes.
That's only what I wrote. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yeah, nothing special.
Yeah. I'll start off. Ravages of Time, I'm giving it a thumbs down. I wasn't bored by the first one, but I was bored by this one, and this was one where I was kind of not dozing up, but just kind of okay, check the phone a couple times, because I was just I was not invested, I was not, I didn't care that much about Silvermane, I didn't care about all the kidnapping, everything like that, so yeah, I'm actually giving it a thumbs down, like I said, that's why I think it's on the spiral level there. It's not as bad as those two, but it's still... In this season, we've had such high quality of episodes, that's why I gotta give it a thumbs down. The first one was a little dip, but this, for me, was a big dip.
Yeah, I think, for me, originally, I thought I liked the part 2 better, but just because it kind of gets scrambled in my brain, as you can imagine. But, yeah, I think I'll have to give it a thumbs down, too. It just... I don't really have any, memorable scenes from this. I have a couple quotes I wrote down, but I specifically wrote those down. There's no scenes that stick out in my head, really. So, yeah, shout out to anime and the non-stick frying pans, but I'll have to give it a thumbs down.
Kyle?
I'll have to give it a thumbs down as well. I don't have many notes on it, so that's not a good sign.
No.
I just was really bored, like Travis was saying, so that's really just it.
So next, Shriek of the Vulture.
Yes.
When Norman Osborn attempts to take over Tomb's I'm just gonna say business because I have no idea how to pronounce that fucking word. Makes Adrian Toomes furious. Using the Tablet of Time technology to steal youth from anyone he touches, he suits up as a vulture to destroy Norman Osborn.
Mm-hmm.
It was that word right there. It was
an
aeronautical.
Aeronautical.
There you go. The hashtag aeronautical.
I just called it his plane museum, but that's probably another. Maybe that's the word for a plane museum.
He just had a fucking plane museum. I'll start. I think this was a good pickup. I don't think this is any on par as far as the quality of the last ones, like an X-Men one or the Punisher one. Right. But I think this reminded me more near the end of season 1, where it's like, oh, they're starting it better. It was that type of quality. So I enjoyed it. Thought it was a good episode. I thought it was pretty good 2-parter too. The twist in it that does happen, I like. So yeah, I liked it. I like Vulture as much as possible. I'm not a big Vulture guy. I've always thought he's cheesy. I like Vulture when he has like the metal suit and he has knives coming out of it and whatnot. So I don't know how I'm gonna feel about him in the Homecoming movie. So I kind of a love-hate relationship. As a kid, I kind of thought he was lame, and I grew to appreciate him as I got older. But as a kid, he was always to me like the lamest villain, like old guy in a Vulture suit. But
for me, my first time ever seeing Vulture is in the Homecoming trailer. So he's pretty new to me. I do like his look. I like his kind of turquoise green. I realize there's actually a lot of villains in this series that rock green.
Scorpion, Doc Ock's kind of half green.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a great color.
Yeah, it is. It's bright for TV show. Well, I guess they're written that way too. Like,
and it's not like too dark, so you can have kids. Well, because it isn't kids anime show. So I feel like if you have something that's black or kind of more darker shade, like it doesn't.
Stereo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes it hard for kids to really want to watch.
Yeah,
right? It's more like a fun villain color.
Fair enough. I liked him. I felt like he was a little bit of a different villain. Like we've seen, I like Blade and Punisher. They're kind of similar in a lot of respects, and I think a lot of it is like the voice and the type of like voice acting that goes into the characters. It seems a lot similar, but this Vulture felt like different. Like I don't know, he had like he kind of had the old man vibe, and like the way, even just the way he would like emphasize words was like he just spoke differently. He had a different like. I guess aura than other villains.
It's not because he's older, but it was similar to when they introduced Doc Ock, and it's like, okay, this guy feels different than like Mysterio's cool just because like his powers, but his character, he's just a fucking FX guy. Scorpion, he's just kind of like a meathead, you know. So like, I'll agree with you there. Actually, that like thinking back on, I did like Vulture, and even the scenes where he's just kind of like plotting in the dark and how he talks, even when he is like spoilers, the younger version of himself. Like, I did like him in this episode or the episodes.
Vulture, I feel like his costume is all right. I don't know. I wasn't really too. I don't really know what a Vulture costume is supposed to look like, but for me, it wasn't.
Like,
there.
you mean in general, or
general.
what Vultures would look like? Because what Vultures would look like is pretty close. Yeah. Like in the comic books, I think it's a bit more like leathery, not so metal. And then there was the version that a lot of people like. I think it's Ultimate Vulture, and it's like the whole suit's metal, and like the wings are knives, so you can shoot them out. And this was kind of like a combination of the both. Like the suit kind of looked metal, but it didn't look like there was no knife. Was there knife throwing? No, I don't think so, because that'd be a little probably too much for it.
But it's pretty PG.
Yeah, and then like in the Homecoming trailer, it looks like he literally just kind of has some flying apparatus, and he has a jacket that has like nice feathers on it, which I'm kind of like worried about. But like he looks cool, but
But to go on what Dylan said, the first time I've seen Vulture was from the Homecoming trailer. Yeah. So now to see him, it was kind of a complete swap, and then also. Do you guys notice how ripped he is for how old?
Oh yeah, he ain't no Silverman. He ain't sitting around being like, I need the. Even though he does need the tablet at the time, he ain't letting age get him down. He's pretty jacked.
Yeah, and the only other thing I don't know about is that he's like, how does he steal all these people's like youth?
Well, I guess he somehow used the tablet of time.
Yeah, he like harvested the power of the tablet of time.
Yeah,
and turned it into some sort of Morbius like vampire weapon or something.
Oh, okay.
Do you need to pause?
No, I don't.
Okay. But yeah, he did. He just kind of used because he bought it, right? So he obviously had some idea when he bought it. Obviously wants to be young, but he did seem like he was trying to find. Well, he was trying to find a way to make sure it could keep him young as long as possible, if not forever. So maybe he didn't want to use it the way Silvermane used it because he saw what happened to him. So he did some like modification. So and they don't really they don't explain where the tablet is. He just kind of touches people.
Yeah, you never actually see it.
No, like
it's not like a part 3. Like it's a new sort of thing.
Yeah. If we haven't been like he gets the tablet, but to be clear, this is a new like 2-parter.
Yeah.
But. Any notes then after our overalls?
So I guess to go back for him stealing the power then, So then everyone changes back into their youth.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like...
No, they get old.
So no, they get old, but then it doesn't last for long. So that's why he has to keep...
Yeah, they don't really make it clear.
Because I mean, I think it's fairly clear. Like, he starts out and there's that kid rollerblading.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man's like, oh, look at this kid, no worries. And then, like, Vulture comes out of nowhere and steals his youth, turns him into an old man. And that only lasted for, like, 10 or so minutes, I want to say.
Yeah.
And that's when he realizes that the power is based on, like, how old the person is, and then they always turn back, though.
I guess my thing was, I just don't know how, like, and this is, like, being science-y geek, but, like, how, like, if you were to turn old, how you like, I would take it as that, obviously they're not going to do this in the TV show, but I would take it as if you got you and take your life force, like, you wouldn't get it back, right? Like,
that's
you'd
what
be
I
old,
was thinking, too.
and, like, but everyone turned back to young. I think it's just so it's happy ending.
Yeah.
But that was the thing that was for me. I'm like, okay, how does the science work as far as how do you get back to being young again? Because he's not retouching you, or no one, like, has a tablet, and it's dispersing, because... Obviously, he took something back, right?
That's a fair science question.
The young people...
Not one that crossed my mind. I didn't feel like it...
So yeah, like, if I take a chocolate bar from you, and I don't give it back to you, but somehow you still get to eat a chocolate bar, there's something wrong there, right? Like, it doesn't make sense, but I give it back to you because I don't want you to cry. That's in this show. It's like, oh, you don't want the kids to be scared and think, like, that'd be pretty dark if all these fucking kids just end up 6 minutes, like, well, you're gonna die, and, like...
Well, that's it. Like, you just get...
That's the way it goes.
Yeah.
So, like, so I see what you're saying there. It didn't bug me, because I just go, oh, it's an animation show, but it didn't bug me. I had my notes that said in the synopsis, but Osborn was back. We haven't seen Norman in a while.
That's true, too.
So that was good to see him. He will have a role to play eventually in this season, series.
That goes, like, all the way back. He was in the Spider Slayers episode.
Yeah.
I don't even know when he came back. Did he really?
I think he had
It's been a while.
He was in the Hobgoblin episodes, remember? Because he was holding something over Hobgoblin. And then there was...
But this is the first time in season 2, at least. So, I mean... we haven't really seen him, so he's not like that. He doesn't have too much depth behind him, but we have seen Harry a lot more recently. I mean, with MJ and stuff.
Sense,
so, I mean,
cool. I liked Vulture. He had, for the comedic side, he had a lot of puns. He almost was as punny as Spider-Man.
Yes.
And his robe. Every time he was not in the Vulture uniform, he was always in his robe. He was not wearing jeans. He wasn't wearing, like... So it's like he was always prepared, like, any second as duty calls to jump into the Vulture suit. You know? Like, even when him, like... I think Norman comes over to talk to him, and he's just, like, chilling in his robe, his green robe. So I liked that.
Well, I mean, you know, Spidey's suit, it's skin tight, and also he can hide that under clothing.
True.
Vulture, not so much. He has giant wings. You don't see Dr. Octopus hiding that behind a robe.
So are you insinuating that the Vulture suit is under the robe?
It could be.
Oh, that's true.
If he's always ready to go, I mean, you need something to hide underneath, because you're not going to hide it under a pair of jeans, that's for sure.
I think there's 2 notes I have. I think back to Osborn, I did like that it showed that he has another enemy, Osborn, who, like, once again, we haven't got to see so much in the series, but every time we do see him, it's always that somebody's after him or someone has a problem with him. It shows like we haven't got to see what his business is or what he does.
So we don't know that.
We haven't been shown that yet. But we always
Oscorp, he had all the like technological advanced stuff.
But we never know why people are really that. Like, they tell us eventually, right? But he just screws over a lot of people. We never know why. Like, we know what he does. We never know really why he has to, right? Which I think it will happen down the line, or we'll get more into Norman. But I like that. And the other thing I had going back to the kids, I don't know how I felt about Vulture's coming. He takes their life, and Spider-Man sees it, and Spider-Man make puns or kind of jokes. I don't know how I felt about Spider-Man kind of like joking while these kids were like getting the life sucked out of them. Like, they turned out okay, so it was fine. But in the moment, I was kind of like, I don't know. Like, this seems like a little too like not time to be joking. So that's one note I had. I
have another interesting part. It kind of reminded me. Do you guys remember back in the Morbius episode, and Spider uses like all these crazy sound technology to like trace where he's been and stuff like that. They do something like that again in this episode. So Spidey is going to find Vulture wherever he is, and he's in like his main hall, and there's like some tiles on the ground, and there's like a turret in there, and he figures that the turrets are like, you know, looking at the tiles to figure out where he is, and so he uses like some more crazy math that he's like talking about while he does all this to like figure out a specific angle where the missiles will bounce and ricochet off the grounds, like off the ground, off the wall, off the roof to hit the turret again. And I love that like so much. It's just like I love that thing in the Morbius episode just because it's so stupid. But I think for a couple reasons. First, that shows that Spidey is more than just like has crazy superpowers. Like, he's a smart guy.
He's more than bronze.
He's a nerd, you know. But I just love how ridiculous it is, because that totally fits the theme of the show, and like I mean, we talked about that in the Morbius episode. I love that as well. So
Yeah.
that was a bit like it was just a little scene for me, but I don't know. I love that cheese factor.
Mm-hmm. A line that I put in there, he said, "Oh man, rollerblades to geriatrics."
Oh, right.
It gets turned into
Rollerblades and geriatrics
Yeah,
in seconds.
so,
But how?
So
Oh, and this might be tied too. Is this when he says, "Yes, neogenic science lives"? Like he yells it out. Somebody yells. I can't remember.
don't know.
Somebody yells it out. But sorry, go ahead, Kyle. But someone just yells it out, and it came off really cheesy.
I also have that Peter's identity gets shown again, but he's in his old age.
So it's a cover until he's
Yeah.
60, and then people are gonna be like, "Oh, that was Spider-Man." But
Yeah.
all those people will probably be dead.
Right, because I think like he got changed his old age, and this I think was it Vulture who took off his. Someone took off his mask.
Vulture does, yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's just like
Yeah, because he's like, "I want to see your face" or something
Yeah.
like that. But it's like this doesn't
Maybe
make
he
much
just like
sense.
forgot that he was
Yeah.
old and
You know, Vulture is old. You know. So.
The other thing that's a funny moment is, I think it's after Spidey gets transformed into old Peter, and he's like, oh, I can't catch him anymore, so I gotta take a picture of him. So he like points his camera, he's trying to get a good angle, and like Vulture's so far away, and then like just in a half a second he glances back, and then Peter takes the photo, and it just. I don't know what it was, but I mean, Travis understands too. It's just so funny.
Yeah,
You have
it was
to see it to understand why it's so funny.
It was so like dramatic, and then like when he goes shot, like you said, photo Vulture has to like whip back and like look directly at him, and then like the newspaper photo is like perfect, like Vulture's face. They see his face, like that was my next note. I just love that.
Peter's relationship.
Well, I was gonna say should we get into that now or
We're gonna get that after.
what? Because what else do we have? Does anyone have more Vulture stuff? Because we'll fill in the
I have
Vulture
one
stuff, and then
quick
we'll get
thing.
into the relationship.
So,
yeah.
After what happens is, Spidey goes to, I think this is after, that turret scene. He goes into his lab, and then Vulture, like, sets the self-destruct thing and then leaves. And then Flash Thompson actually kind of saves him, and then Spidey has a good line. He's like, saved by Flash Thompson. How embarrassing.
Yeah.
The classic line. But then, like, what do you think of that? Because Vulture just blew up his entire aeronautical plane museum. I feel like the value of that stuff in there, like, I don't know. I thought that was a very strange decision.
I kind of have a problem with that whole scene in general, because that's very strange, but obviously I guess he's just kind of in, like, effort mode. I don't know why he needed to, just so maybe I guess people wouldn't tie him to the Vulture, I guess.
Well, because his plan was, Spidey had that thing on his forehead that, like,
right.
kind of made him like unconscious or something, so he's gonna blow it up and kill him in there.
Yeah,
but
you
like,
could just decapitate him with your
or
wings.
you could have just brought him with you and dropped him like 1,000 feet,
Yeah.
and then no one would be able to save him.
Well, that's where Vulture's a different type of villain, and that's where it does come in where Doc Ock always seems smart. He is a different type, and he does seem smart, but he does seem very sporadic. He does seem very destructive. Like, and he's not really, like, think about the park, he's just going down in public swiping people. Like, he doesn't really care. Like, all he cares about is being, like, youthful. The other thing I had about that scene, or like, I think it's beginning, is when they're fighting in that scene. This is when at one point, new recurring character Deb, he kidnaps Deborah Vulture to use her as like bait. Funny bait. But then so they get in this fight in there, and these planes. So were they real planes? Because when I was watching this, I thought those were all model planes.
No, I'm pretty sure they were real.
Because they all fucking explode with one, just like with a punch. Vulture will throw it at a wall. I didn't know this. I know planes explode, but a plane if a plane is not, another science question, if a plane's not on it, it's been sitting there for years. If you throw it fast at a wall, is it going to explode?
Yeah.
Would it?
Yeah.
Okay, how come?
How come? Well,
Yeah. This is a
say if there's-
scientist episode.
Say if there's like gas mixture still inside.
But what if there's not? Because these planes have been...
There's probably not gas in it.
Let's say there's
but
no
you don't
gas.
need to have gas.
Okay.
Like if it's full, if it's empty, you can still have the vapors of gas.
Right.
Okay.
So that's what's going to ignite is the vapors,
But
not the actual.
would it
gas.
ignite with other fire or just being thrown into a
I think
wall?
be throwing in, and then what would happen? The metal would create spark, and that's what.
Okay, we need
blow up.
Mythbusters on there. Okay, fine, I'll accept it for now. I'll allow it. But at first I was like, man, all these planes are just blowing up for no reason. Like, before we get into that, or the love triangle, I liked the old Peter cliffhanger. It was a good thing. Like, obviously, I'd seen the episode before, but I like that. He gets hit, and then it's a good way to lead off into episode 2. Mm-hmm. Did you guys feel the same about the old Peter, like, at least the cliffhanger of it?
Yeah, I think it was really interesting how they did that.
So now we're going to get into our favorite topic, Peter's love life. So there's two things. One, there's this whole Flash, Deborah and Felicia scene where Flash and Felicia, like we said, they're kind of on again. It seems like they were at some sort of... I think it was just a diner or something like that.
Like ball or...
I think it was a diner.
It was, but I thought it was because they were more dressed up again. It was like maybe it was like a clubby sort of place.
Awards ceremony. I don't know the specifics.
So in this thing too,
was it at the nautical museum? I mean, the aeronautical museum.
I think so.
And that's where you first see Vulture because he's hosting it.
Yeah, because he's young again. Remember in that scene, he is young and he makes an appearance. So it's something. It's something to do with that. Okay. And in this, it's kind of established that Deb. Well, is it this episode or a couple episodes before when Peter was like? Was it Peter Spider-Man that said like, "Oh, Flash, you know, like Deb really likes you," or was it this episode? That is this one because that comes later, but Deb sees them like out of the corner of her eye and just sees them together, and she kind of looks like she's given up, like, "Oh, like that sucks." And this my favorite thing is Peter says, "I feel so bad for Deb. I've been there." And then what happens is he's watching this and he just walks away. He doesn't even fucking go say hi to Deb. He doesn't be like, "Oh, you okay?" Like he's just like, because what happens was this. I'm pretty sure they show like a few flashbacks of him like getting like standing up MJ and that. So he's like. I love Peter in the show, but like Peter is constantly like all about himself. Like that's a problem with he's not like classic so Spider-Man. Yeah, he's so selfish. He's so self-centered in this because like I thought he was gonna go say Deb like, "Oh, I've been there," and then he just turns and walks away like, "Oh, fuck Deb," right? Like, and they're supposed to be friends, right? They go to school, so I kind of like I got
they're like this brother-sister relationship they're supposed to have.
Yeah, because he says at one point. Remember early on, was like, "Oh, she's like a sister to me." Like, and early in season 1, random note, I like that Vulture had a classic bookshelf, like mirror sort of thing. Like that's where he kept his stuff.
Right.
And then at one point, Peter. He's talking. I think that comes after, and he has the flashbacks, and he sees Harry and MJ thinking about them, and he's just throwing shade about Harry, like, "Oh, like how could my best friend do this to me?" Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
We still have yet to see a scene of them being best friends together. Before or after this, we've not even seen.
They've lived together. They're best friends.
We've not seen a scene even with them after like that. Like remember when we were talking about when are MJ and Felicia gonna be seen together? We've not seen a scene of Harry and Peter together since Harry and MJ got together. They've always talked about each other, but they've not been in the same room since that big breakup explosion, right?
They haven't talked.
So Peter keeps on the shade, but it hasn't even like asked Harry like, "Hey," like, but like there hasn't even been a conversation, and like they still don't come off as best friends at all. And then this ends with what's his pickle, the kidnapping, and then Flash. What do you guys feel about going on? Everything with Felicia, with Flash, with Deb. What do you guys feel all about going on about Peter's love life? I guess it's not really Peter's love life; it's everyone's love life around him.
He seems a little bit disconnected. It's like he's taking a step back a little bit, and. I mean, that stuff's always super fun for me. So that's our favorite part, obviously. So, I don't know. I would like to see him go. I like how we go back and forth. So I think now is the time when he could go back to Felicia for a little bit.
Oh, so you want him to make a jump? So how are you guys?
I just love to see the back and forth.
Because I thought that he was with Silvermane's daughter at this point.
Well, but then she's revealed to be evil, and he can't be with an evil girl.
But he doesn't know that she's evil. Yeah.
He's Spider-Man.
No, I don't think so.
She's there during the whole fucking pyramid thing, shooting at people.
Oh.
Yeah, like he knows it's like Spider-Man knows she's
still
evil.
with her at this episode.
All they went on was like a fucking date, Kyle, and he stood her up again for one. So it's not even like they're like they're on, you know. So, rating for this episode?
I give it a thumbs up. I like this. I really like
thumbs
up. Vulture. Yeah. I thought he was fun. I think there's, a few storylines. We finally do get some more. Felicia and Mary Jane stuff, which was lacking in Tablet of Time, Ravages of Time. So, thumbs up for me.
Yeah, Kyle?
I'm going to give it another thumbs up. I enjoyed it. It was a lot better than watching the Tablet of Time.
Even though it featured the Tablet of Time.
Pardon me?
Wow.
It featured the Tablet of Time in a way.
Yeah, in a way.
All we needed
for
episodes.
But I thought it was really cool. Good cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm. Season finale for Season 2, The Final Nightmare. Spider-Man seeks Kurt Connor's aid to help reverse the aging effects of Vulture's talons. After absorbing Spider-Man's youth and DNA, the Vulture mutates into Man-Spider. He's back. Scorpion grabs Dr. Fairly Stillwell to see a cure for his own mutation. Reading that synopsis, I actually did like this episode. I think it suffers the same thing from Season 1, that I think they don't do a good job of picking a good episode for their finale. I don't
think it's really a finale.
It's not, because it doesn't work. We've talked about this before last year, or with last season. It doesn't work like a TV show like nowadays. But even then, I still treat it as kind of like this is their last episode. And even then, like put maybe a bigger one there. Like I don't know. But then when you had the Man-Spider stuff, so I kind of get why. Yeah. But reading that, I do like the overall episode, and I like Scorpion. I feel Scorpion Scorpion is Scorpion. He's super tacked on in this episode, and it's really just so him and Vulture can kind of have a cool fight and then a team up. Like, I like his involvement, kind of, but it feels super tacked on, and that I don't like, because he comes out of nowhere. It's literally, we have Connors, we have Vulture, we have Peter, and then just randomly Scorpion's like,
back.
oh, the people are trying to kill each other. Like, I'll kill. Like, it just felt so. Felt like a crossover in like a weird way again, which I didn't love. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. It didn't flow perfectly for me.
I think I felt that way when I watched this like a couple weeks ago, but I watched it again today just because we were going to record this a while ago. We didn't, but I watched it again today just to get a refresher, and I actually liked it on the second watch again, just like as a finale, because we'll talk about the MJ stuff in a bit, but it set up some MJ stuff for the future season, and I like that.
MJ,
and then we also get, Spidey's finally cured of the man spider disease.
Yeah.
Or at least Connor says so. I don't really...
do you not believe Connors? That sounded like some doubt in your voice there. Well, at least Connor said so. Come on now.
I don't know. I don't really have an educated opinion. I'm not into neogenics much on my own. So,
but eugenic science lives.
So I don't know. I actually kind of did like it. I think Scorpion. I thought he was decent in this episode because from what I remember, he was in episode 6 or 7 of the first season.
Yeah, he was in that trilogy with Mysterio and Ock.
Right, and he seemed at the time like I didn't like him just because he was your rhino, he was your meathead, he was
and he was the weaker of the 3 of those episodes too. Yeah,
and I don't remember if they talked about his motivations really in that episode. This was a while ago, but
it was the same thing to get cured.
Right. Okay.
Or no, it was to get Spider-Man, because remember there was this whole thing about Jonah paid a guy to make a creation to get Spider-Man.
But, now they have given him this backstory, and that he just wants to be cured. And I liked it. I thought it was good. I thought it was a decent minor storyline in the episode.
Kyle, what did you think about this episode overall?
Overall, I think it wasn't too bad. Lots of things happened, but I think it was still a lot more interesting and kind of fun to watch as well too. I enjoyed Scorpion being back. I thought it was good. And
that's what I enjoyed it. I just felt it was strange, but I enjoed it. I actually preference.
I think it just really alliterates of how everyone is just so screwed up with all this neogenic stuff that they all want the same thing, which is to be normal again.
Yeah, and we haven't really shown the positives of it, other than I guess it created one good Spider-Man superhero. But even then, that turned bad.
Even Spidey, I think it was in the last episode, he has some sort of statement that, Connor's this sucks, this Tablet of Time could have saved you, and he's like, yeah, I would have liked that. Even Spidey doesn't want these powers anymore. Yeah. Which I was kind of confused about.
Well, I think he was just talking about the mutant part of him, because I think he was just worried about man spider, so I think he's still on the powers, because at one point he does say in his inner monologue, and he says, my life as Spider-Man is over, and I did like that he didn't even fucking care that he was 60 and his love life and Peter. He just says his Spider-Man life is over, so I think he was talking more about man spider than Spider-Man. I think he still wants to be Spider-Man. I did put, do you think in real life, because we've not seen that much in comic books and it's different in this show, if he gets to 60 as Peter Parker, do you think he would be weakened, or do you think that was Vulture? Because when he's Spider-Man at 60, he's very weak, he doesn't have a spider sense, he can't do much, he's not that strong, so do you think that would happen to him naturally in real life? Or do you think that's just an effect of Vulture? Because I was thinking about that when he got turned. His powers were weakened as well.
I think that's just the effect of Vulture taking all of his powers, and that's why Vulture's so much more powerful, and then he's so weak, so I think that just really pounds in the fact that, your powers are taken away, you have to show a weaker form, and this is kind of where it's at. So I think it worked well.
And now that I think about it, we never... the show, we've talked about how the origin story isn't in the first episode, right? We've kind of got sprinkles of it, so we never have seen Peter before he had the powers. So we don't really know what he was like. And so maybe just without his powers, maybe he isn't even just as strong as a person in general. Because even without the powers,
I'll disagree.
He's a pretty jacked dude.
That's why.
Yeah.
I
think he's just stronger, perhaps.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe that's responsible for the more energy and stuff too.
Now I'll ask you two, because you guys were not a fan of Man Spider. How were you with the whole Vulture thing? Because I'll go first. I liked Man Spider, but plus I did first I liked the look, because I just like the look of Man Spider, but second, I liked that they did tie it back, and that made sense in the way that they did it. Was, not only do you get his youth, you got his sickness, his disease. So I really liked the way they did that. It was really smart. So how do you guys feel about Man Vulture?
I liked it more now as well, Man Vulture. I think it's a cool twist, because Vulture is kind of his power, or like when he steals other people's power, you kind of see how his power, like he only gets it when someone else loses their power. Yeah. And so now Spidey, he's lost Man Spider, but someone else has it now too. So it kind of brings that theme back of someone's for the better, but someone's also for the worse.
Yeah.
And we'll have to see what it does, because Man Spider eventually kind of fried Peter's brain to a point where he wasn't even himself. He was just like a faceless villain. And so, curious, because it's pretty obvious that Vulture's going to come back at some point. He does the classic Hobgoblin where he flies off into the moon.
Morbius does that as well.
So I like Man Spider now. At the
where
end
it got us.
I like at the end. I like where the final point was.
I think it was a really good way to tie everything together as well too. I still don't like Man Spider in the first one.
Yeah.
But seeing this way and how, again, kind of just reiterate what Dylan said. Just his powers that Vulture grabs whatever like sickness or disease that person could possibly have, right? And that he picks that up. So I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
Well, because
I'm not allowed to have my next some MJ stuff coming up.
I think I just hop right into it.
I just saw the quote, "Don't leave me again."
Yeah.
And that made me laugh. The last thing I had to say about the deal was Scorpion. At one point, they make a deal with Vulture to work together, and Scorpion goes like, "I plan on killing Spider-Man anyways." And it's like, yeah, but his main plan was to become human again. So what was his plan? To become human and then kill Spider-Man?
He was originally supposed to kill Spider-Man.
Yeah,
so
but it's like he's like, oh, that was my plan anyways. But it's like, no, your original plan you said was to become human. So was that your plan? So Scorpion is classic. Like, I felt he was actually dumb in this episode. So
yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah.
So MJ. So is that pretty much? There's not much other to say about those two, because Scorpion at the end is fucked because what happens at the end too. There's a big battle.
With Green Monster battle.
Yeah, there's a Green Monster battle. They get in a big fight. Connor turns into a lizard. He's fighting. So it's really like Spider-Man and Lizard. Lizard kind of helping out versus Vulture and Scorpion. Big battle ends up with Spider-Man being cured. Yeah. Connor's just cured, right?
Oh, that's what I
don't think they really mentioned that.
So Connor's brings Spider-Man in. He baits him, and then Spider-Man's like, Dr. Connor's like, you screwed me up.
Yeah, he's pretending to be bad. And I did think at first he was being
bad. I totally believed it.
I was like, wow, you
Connor's like, you sold him out.
I didn't. I was like, he's playing him.
I didn't think he was doing it to be bad. I thought he was just doing it for like his family. Yeah, so I didn't think, but then when he played it, so I like that. But
and then, at the end, it's like Dr. Connors actually does the trick on, who was it, Vulture?
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh man, Dr. Connors, like, my boy. Like,
I put the real MVP. Because to specify, Vulture at this episode, it's like he's just stuck as Man Spider and he flies away. So like he's literally just stuck as a creature now. So
and he's not happy about it. Yeah, he's also old underneath that. So he's this old spider Vulture.
And I put because I put Spider-Man cured. Didn't put anything about Connors. So I imagine Connors isn't 100%.
No, because I don't think he got hit by the Recombinator, and
Scorpion's fucked because he was after the cure and all the research is gone. So he's just stuck as Scorpion.
And then I guess I can't remember his name, but the guy who created Scorpion in the first place, that guy apparently made all the neogenic stuff in the first place.
And he's like, good luck trying to figure it out again. He's not even going to help anybody, so...
He gone.
Yeah. I'm curious where that's going to go, because, they didn't explicitly say, or even really hint at that Connors is cured. So he still presumably has this disease, and apparently he needed to get hit by it daily or something to not turn back. So that's not going to last long. Quick. Yeah.
I did put it kind of fit for the finale. I did like the final battle with all four of them. It actually was really good. I usually put that in notes when there was, and this felt very cinematic. Everyone was fighting. Got to see different mix and matches of people fighting. So I did like the battle.
A lot of green scale, but other than that, it was good.
Mm-hmm. So MJ is back in this episode because she's taking a back seat. She's just been hanging out with Harry. We've seen flashbacks and Peter's mentioned her, but. Yeah. We've seen more Felicia being around Flash and MJ. MJ's back because she gets a note, is it? Or a letter from her father? Is that it?
I believe something.
Call. It's something. I can't remember. Yeah. Excuse me for not remembering. But anyway, so she's dealing with the struggle of her father's coming back in town. She hasn't seen her father since she's 5 or something like that. He left her. And the big thing is, the turning point is, her and Peter bump into each other. They're talking. And she asks Peter to come with her instead of Harry. And then he asks, well, why not Harry? And she just kind of goes, oh, Harry, well... she doesn't give an answer. Yeah. So it makes it seem like things aren't working out.
Yeah.
And then what happens is, at the end of this episode, episode, she sees a man. Or no, God, right?
First Peter.
Yeah,
First
so
Peter
Peter as old man.
Yeah. Yeah, and he knocks on her door. She answers, and he runs away. And she's like, "Dad, no! Don't leave me again."
Yeah, don't leave me again.
So it was like that was pretty dark.
It's probably the most
sad.
It's the most darkest, depressing moment I think of this show because she.
Yeah,
we didn't preference. She got the letter before,
yeah.
and then Peter shows up on the door, and then she did think that old Peter was her dad, and she's like, "Don't leave me again," and it showed like the empty street like for 5 seconds, and it just hung there, and it was sad. It was like it made you feel for her. So
it was like it was another one of those things where when you see Uncle Ben's scene where he gets like killed or whatever, or I think it was Uncle Ben. And it just seemed like awfully dark for what the show.
Well, and Jameson's wife, remember?
Yeah, that's
walking in the
that's what I'm thinking of.
It seems like every season there's some super dark moment happens.
Yeah. It always catches me off guard.
Yeah,
because it happens so rarely, and it's usually
random.
It's usually like a 20-second scene, so you don't have a lot of time to process it. And then they're back into flying around.
And it's not set up like in an episode people are in danger and someone gets killed. It's like that thing. I didn't see it coming. Like, Father, don't leave me again. So what do you guys think about MJ? She was not talking to Peter. She was furious. Peter. At this point, she thought Peter was maybe going behind her back, sleeping with Felicia. What do you guys think about MJ confiding in her and MJ asking her to come see her father with her?
I guess I'll go. I thought it was kind of just a mix of what is happening in Peter's life.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of interesting how MJ picked Peter over Harry.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I guess they kind of have that history, and you know that MJ has been with Peter when through family issues.
A lot.
So it makes sense how she would want him to be with her during her family issues because they kind of have that history, more of a personal level than just a dating level. So that kind of makes sense.
I was gonna say pretty much the same thing. Yeah, I think for that kind of issue, I don't think it's that surprising that she went to Peter even after
everything.
I don't know.
Peter's
Peter's a mess.
I don't. I'm still fuck MJ. I think she is realizing that she overblown the whole situation. She freaked out. She overreacted, and now she's
on Team Felicia.
I'm on Team Felicia because of the way MJ acted. Go listen to the back last episode and find out. One of my favorite episodes, maybe our favorite episode we've done because there's so much juicy relationship stuff break down. But I think she's now realizing that maybe she overreacted, and two, I think she does not want to bring Harry, not because of maybe the personal stuff that has something to do with it, but I think that's her showing requires that Harry is 100% the rebound guy, and she's just with Harry because she was mad at Peter and she just wanted to date a guy or be with a man. So she's like, Harry. But this was the full on showing because all we've seen of them was just nice in the diner, right? This was our first glimpse of MJ. Someone was yelling upstairs. He's Team Felicia.
That's our fans outside. Yeah,
we're coming on in a second. Hang on. That's our live studio audience. But yeah, so it showed to me full on that Harry is the rebound guy.
Well, you know what? I don't want to sound like a dick here, but
but you're gonna.
You know what, Harry's he seems like a pretty boring guy. Okay?
Oh yeah,
he's painfully boring.
He's a different looking cat.
Maybe at first she's like, this guy, he wears a weird looking outfit. He has the
same orange jacket.
This guy's got some weird ass hair. This guy's pretty cool, or something like that. And maybe after getting to know him a little bit more, maybe not. That's not quite it.
Well, this isn't
the guy I want to bring home to my father that I haven't seen.
We haven't even got a chance to know him yet. And what even then? Wouldn't that be a super awkward scene of hey, this is my ex-boyfriend? I guess you'd just say friend, but even then, kind of be weird. So. More in, and then the cliffhanger is that MJ's gone. That she sees a man and she follows him. Yeah. Peter is seeing this. They turn a corner. Peter turns a corner, and they're gone. Mm-hmm. What do you guys think about that? That's one thing I'll give it credit. Where last season's finale, I didn't feel like that. They had a little bit of finale with him and MJ arguing, but this felt like the whole episode didn't feel like finale, but it felt like a finale cliffhanger. Mm-hmm. So I kind of liked that.
Well, I mean, no matter how much you could be on Team MJ or Team Felicia, you still care about MJ, right? Mm-hmm. And when she gets, she got kidnapped, right? It's pretty obvious. Maybe it could have been that her father hanging out there having a good time. They're gonna go have dinner or something, but she got kidnapped. Let's be real here. So I mean,
would you be mad if episode 1? It's just they're in a diner and they're like, "Hey, Pete."
I feel like I'd be a little upset.
I mean, the rest of the episode would have to be pretty killer. Otherwise, I might be pretty mad. But.
Yeah, Kyle.
No, I like the cliffhanger. I thought it was good. Makes you want to watch the next season. See what happens to her.
They always do, yeah. Thumb up for me. Really enjoyed the episode. I thought it was quite good. I had a few problems with it, but overall, good
Thumbs
episode.
up as well.
Yeah.
Too. Loved it. So. It was good.
Now, here is what we did last time. 2 things quickly. What would be your favorite episode out of all of season 2 between the Punishers one, or even if you want to do 2-parter, because there were so many 2-parters.
Let's do a quick recap. We had Insidious 6,
X-Men, Punisher, Blade, Tablet of Time,
so
Vulture.
Are we not missing one?
I don't think so. No.
No.
And Morbius. Morbius had some chunk episodes in the middle where you met him and he stole Peter's shit. Remember?
I think for me it's going to be the X-Men episodes.
Yeah.
I thought they were just really well done. I just loved seeing the whole team up. Wolverine versus Spider-Man.
Hobgoblin was back.
Yeah, Hobgoblin.
Our boy, who did not appear the rest of the season. Were you guys surprised about that? Because he appeared pretty early on.
I still want to know who Hobgoblin is.
And I said I'd ask this at the end of every season. You got any better guess?
No idea.
What is it? MJ's dad.
Oh wow!
Wow.
I'm gonna say it's probably not.
Yeah, because he's
Dylan. What was your favorite 2-parter episodes for season 2?
This is a really tricky one. Because from the backstage point of view, those first 2 episodes we recorded like quite a while ago. So I mean, my memory's pretty foggy in them at this point. I really liked the Morbius. I don't even know.
Saga.
I guess it kind of ended up being around 4 episodes.
It was 6 though. No, remember he got his own 2 with 2 with Punisher and then 2 with Blade. So he was he was like the villain of the season.
I think my favorite is probably the one where Morbius's arc kind of finished. That was somewhere in the Blade.
That was Blade. Yeah, because when he turns into
Man Blade, obviously. Yeah. So I'm either going with that or the X-Men stuff. I mean, that was amazing, right? So.
I'm going to go for a twofer as far as my favorite ones to watch were the X-Men ones for sure. X-Men's my favorite Marvel characters. Yeah. I love them. I love the dynamic always between Wolverine and Spider-Man because they're such different characters. They bounce off each other.
Awesome,
so Wolverine's great. So for watching wise, that was it. My favorite episode though overall to record was the last one we did with that relationship blowing up thing because when I was watching it, even though I wasn't with you two, I was just like, man, everything was happening. Like, this is insane. I can't really talk about because the way we do, as you've seen talk about, is like if this was like a real relationship or like a real soap opera show, like we're getting into it. So that for me was. I guess it would be second, but for record, that was my favorite one because like that was so fun talking about. And when that scene was happening, like, oh, this happened, like in my mind, like I cannot wait. I'm taking down notes. Like, I cannot wait to talk about this. So, and we did this last time. What are you guys wanting in season 3? We had a lot of people pop up. We had X-Men, we had Blade, we had Punisher. Is there anyone else you want to see pop up? Is there any villains you want to come back? Any villains we haven't seen you want to come back or pop up? Sorry.
Well, I'm always down for more Hobgoblin, and
that's a given on this guy.
And
it's like relationship goals, Hobgoblin. That's what I talk about the most.
Dr. Ock. I don't remember where he left off.
He was just gone. They all left after Insidious 6.
So I'd like to see him some more. I mean, I'd be down for some more X-Men, even if it's just an episode or 2 here or there. I think they've done a good job of throwing villains I haven't really thought about, like Blade and like Vulture and stuff, and making me interested enough. So I'm just down for whatever they want to throw at me, honestly.
Kyle?
My body is ready for whatever they...
You trust them? Yeah.
Or MJ Felicia stuff, please.
Oh, yeah, for sure that. Of course, I want to see Hobgoblin. The other thing is, I don't know when it pops up. It's not a spoiler because it's Spider-Man, of course, will pop up. I'm ready for Green Goblin to pop up.
Yeah.
I do remember those episodes being quite good when I was a kid and even watching them when I was older again. So I don't know if it is next season because I didn't look ahead. We know the first episode has some Doctor Strange action going on.
Oh, does it? Nice.
Yeah, I remember we saw because you guys thought it was Kraven and then I had to tell you it wasn't because they had the gray stripes. So we got that first episode, so check that out. But yeah, I'm ready for Green Goblin. I'm ready for... They're pretty good, and it goes down a fun road. So, thank you very much for tuning in. Come back for Season 3. We're going to be here watching episodes, breaking them down. Once again, tell us which team you're on. Team Felicia, Team MJ. We need to know.
TMJ.
We need Team Felicia all the way. We need to know.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for tuning in. Catch you on the web.
Yeah.